Hey guys, I decided to not make a video. Instead, I just wanted to use my voice. So welcome to my channel. This is a pre-fight from the Robert Guerrero, Floyd Mayweather post. What's to come. Anyway, what I want to say in regards to that fight is I have two strong opinions on that fight. It was a good fight, great fight. It was not how I expected it to turn out, and here's why. I honestly expected Robert to be more competitive, as I said in my video. I thought Robert would not necessarily win the fight, as I stated in my video. I didn't say he was going to win, but I thought he would be a little bit more competitive. Now, there's some people going around and they're saying that's just how good Floyd is, and once you get in the ring with him, he just completely dominates and, he shuts people out. Okay, I understand that. But I honestly don't believe and buy that. And here's just now, bear with me. There's a lot of footage on Floyd. Floyd really doesn't change too much. If you watch all his fights, he's pretty much the same in all his stuff. Yes, he's a great counterpuncher. Yes, he's very slippery. Yes, he's very tactical. And yes, he's great on the inside. All these things. However, because he has an extended amount of footage on him, you would think that somebody who knows Floyd, has been studying Floyd and has been stalking Floyd and has been demanding for a Floyd fight, would be a little bit more prepared, a little bit more ready to take on Floyd Mayweather. You don't call out Floyd Mayweather for years and years, move up to come up to fight him, and then come up with what we saw 2 weeks ago. Robert Guerrero didn't have a plan B, C, or D. He never adjusted once. The first two rounds you can give them to Robert Guerrero, say, okay, the first round, I gave it to Robert. Second round, same thing. But, if I'm being kind, right? But as far as what he did nothing. Nothing. No adjustments, nothing. Like, I'm sitting there watching him and I'm telling him, move to your right, move to your left. Why are you moving forward? Why are you going toward Floyd when Floyd is cocked and loaded in the corner of the ring, right in the center corner, in a peekaboo stance, and you're coming toward Floyd? Or, you're going to him, and I'm just thinking, like, move back. Let Floyd come to you. Why are you going to Floyd? Now, before the fight happened, I watched the Ricky Hatton-Floyd Mayweather fight. I used this fight for to gain some kind of knowledge of what I thought the fight would be like. And you would think that Robert Guerrero would have studied that fight. Studied the shit out of that fight. Now, there's actually a great video that Million Styles Boxing puts out. Million Styles Boxing, a YouTube channel. Coach Barry Robinson is the coach, and he breaks down the Hatton-Mayweather fight so good. He breaks it down. So the week before the fight, I'm watching it, and falling asleep to the fight. I'm just like so enamored over this fight, and I'm like just loving every minute of it. And especially the way Barry breaks it down beautifully. Now, Barry's a coach. I'm not taking anything away from him. Nothing at all. There's a lot of people in the industry that never get to the level that Floyd is at, right? Or the coaches, or Robert Guerrero even. And yet they are there. They are served these great, opportunities to fight at this level. I don't think Barry has had the ability to fight at that level. Maybe he has, I don't know. Maybe he has. I don't know. Again, I'm not discrediting him. But if a guy like Barry can break down a fight, and there's a lot of people that have broken down Floyd's style and been able to just completely, they talk about it in such great detail and analyze it and see the benefits, the flaws, and all the different, aspects of being a reactive fighter like Floyd. There's a lot of benefits to it. And there's some weaknesses to it too. So I watched that fight, watched Barry's video, watched, just other videos of Floyd, and watched him. So now I'm watching Robert Guerrero unfold, and I'm seeing literally every single thing pan out just like the Ricky fight. The only difference is that Robert held back and wasn't as aggressive as Ricky, and he didn't get knocked out. But you can see a lot of uncanny things unfold in that fight, where you see the check hook trying to get set up. Floyd tried to set up the check hook. He tried to. You can see it. Floyd skipping around the ring, and it was like exactly the same as watching that Hatton fight. And I'm watching it and I'm like, whoa, this is weird. Like literally the same. Now, as a professional fighter, I would think you would say like, hey, Floyd is trying to do this to me. Floyd is trying to do that to me. I've been studying this guy for years. Let me switch it up. Let me something. But no, Robert didn't do any of that. Nothing. Okay? Now, my problem with this fight is, one, Robert Guerrero has to be really, really, his ring intelligence just has to be not there at all. At all. Or this fight is a fix. And I say those two things, I'm really, really, really strong on both. I don't have enough evidence to say that it is a fix, but there are some things that do stand out. Like, since when has Robert been this huge holy roller Bible thumper? I mean, I know he's religious, and I know that, but I mean, the way they pushed it, the way they over-amplified this and over-dramatized this whole situation, it just seemed a little bit over the top. Good boy versus bad boy, okay? But when we all damn know that Floyd is not a bad boy. He tries to be. He ran his mouth. That's how he started to get people to pay attention. That's how they sold the De La Hoya Floyd Mayweather fight. But in reality, I honestly don't think Floyd is a bad boy. A bad boy. Meanwhile, you got Robert Guerrero with, getting busted with guns. That doesn't sound like I have a cousin who's a total like pachuco, just like Robert Guerrero's dad, and he's a born again Christian and hardcore. But you would never see my uncle with a gun, running, going from place to place. No. Again, I'm not trying to compare the two. I just did, but I don't know. Kind of weird. So Robert gets busted with a gun, and then right before the fight, at the press hearing, you see Ruben Guerrero calling Floyd a woman beater and doing all this and that. And I'm just gonna say, my brother, who was on the same bandwagon as me, is saying we're gonna boycott this thing. We're not gonna fight. We're not gonna watch the fight. I forwarded him that video of Ruben going off on Floyd, and he goes, Don, I'm sorry, but I gotta watch this. I gotta watch it. I was like, no, you gotta boycott. And he goes, no, I gotta watch it. I have to watch it now. It's just like Ruben going off on Floyd made it a little bit more interesting, don't you think? A little bit of drama. Okay? Now here's the interesting part. Watch when the fight is about to start and you see Floyd Sr. and Ruben Guerrero kind of giggling and laughing right when the ref is telling Floyd and Robert Guerrero to I want a clean fight, and he's right before the bell starts, the first round, right when they're there and everybody gets together, right? Look at Ruben Guerrero and Floyd Sr. They're laughing. It's almost like, what happened to all that drama? What happened to all that beef? Now, I'm just going to say, if somebody insulted my son like that and called him a woman beater and said all that stuff, honestly, I'm not going to be cool to him. I'm going to stare him down. I'm just going to be like, I have no respect for you. Honestly, I wouldn't. But yet they're giggling and they're laughing. So I don't buy it. So there's those things right there. It's just hard for me to believe that Robert Guerrero, who, the way he fought with Andre Berto, which I didn't think he was going to fight Floyd like that, but all those punches he took, all those uppercuts, it was war with him and Andre Berto. And you're going to tell me that Robert didn't give it a try. I mean, yes, Floyd hits hard. I'm not discrediting Floyd and his power, but I mean, it just, I don't know, it's just hard for me to believe that Robert gave that performance. So don't discredit what I'm saying either. When you have, we know there's fixes in boxing. The fight with Rosado and Love, that seemed like a fix to me too. Don't you guys agree? I mean, honestly, like, Rosado should have won that fight and they give it to Love. Okay? Now, what's to say they don't give Robert a nice chunk of change quietly and say, you know what, we want you to make Floyd look good, just bone out. We got 5 other fights to do. This is the kickoff with Showtime. And you know what? Just take your money and run. And I promise you, I'll set you up with some other fights down the line. Guaranteed. Take your money and shut the hell up. Make it exciting. Make sure your pops is talking loud. And you'll have guaranteed fights coming down the line. Robert signs the contract, and the story. That could be the situation. I'm not saying that's the situation, but I'm just having a hard time swallowing that Robert had no plan B, C, D, nothing. Never once did he adjust. Not once. So, where does this take us? Where does this leave Floyd? Where is this going? I really hope this isn't true. There's no way for me to prove it, but something smells fishy to me, and it just seems I just don't have a good feeling about it, in the sense of are we looking at the WWF, or are we actually watching like boxing at its finest? And there's no competition for Floyd. Floyd wants to fight the best at 147. It doesn't seem like he's going to move to 154. So, Floyd, vacate your belt. If you're not going to fight at 154, then just vacate it. It's no big deal. And I don't have a problem with Floyd not fighting Canelo. I do have a problem with Canelo moving down to 147 because Canelo's having a hard time already making 154. So, I mean, that's just a known fact. He is having a hard time making 154. He's doing it because, he's trying to sweep that division, but at the same time, there's no way Canelo goes to 147. And if he does, that's just like, I don't even want to see that. There's just really no point to it. And I would advise all of you guys to tune out to that. It's just, do I think Floyd can beat Canelo at 154? Yes, I do. Do I think he's going to beat Canelo at 154? Absolutely. But if he doesn't, and he doesn't fight him, he's going to get that. You're always going to hear, the Floyd ducked Canelo. The people are never going to be happy. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that fight. So my 2 things that I stand really firm on. Robert Guerrero's just got to be the most dumb. I'm sorry, I don't mean to, to put Robert down, but there's just so much information out there about Floyd. And I really thought that you would have made it a little bit more competitive, just a little bit more competitive. And it's just hard for me to believe that there was no, you may as well put Brandon Rios in there. There's just nothing, no adjustments. And I've seen, just look at Robert Guerrero's fights. He's like Timothy Bradley. Timothy Bradley can put him in any different situation. In some way, somehow, he pulls little tricks out of his bag and he makes it happen. That's Robert Guerrero. He just works off his back foot. He can brawl. He could, he has a lot of different little hats that he can wear. And I didn't see any of that. Nothing. Not once did he adjust. And if he did adjust, somebody please tell me what round and where Floyd schooled him and Robert goes back to going to, just going back to plan A. I would like to know. Because I have no idea where Robert adjusted. Not once. Or attempt to adjust. Or something. I guess that's it. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Right now, I just starting to lose my faith in the way boxing is going, and all these different promotional wars and network wars. I'm just losing interest, to be honest, and it's sad because I really love the sport.